that's where the man was. He was at a point whereby he's tried everything that could be done. Just like the woman with the issue of blood. Done everything. Nothing seemed to work. So now somebody comes and says, but there's this Messiah. His name is Yeshua, and I think he can heal your son. I know he can heal your son. He's like, forget it, I'm done. There's if you guys watch Living Scripture, if you have Living Scripture app, I think at this day and age I would recommend every believer, even non-believers, if you're concerned about the content that your family is being fed, you might want to consider Living Scripture. They're not paying me for this. I'm not being paid to advertise Living Scripture. But I think as a Christian, if you don't have Living Scripture, you're doing yourself a disservice. And the subscription is basically cheaper than Netflix, but you will get clean content for your family. However, back to Living Scripture. There's something they do where you have Bible stories with the Bible passages, and I think it's very neat because as a family, you read the Bible with the kids, but kids are also very visual learners. So they have this, the acting, the depiction of this particular passage. And it's interesting, the reaction, like just having to see the depiction of what this man, what he felt like, what life was like. In that depiction, the man happened to, at some point, had to chain his child down, had to tie his child to something, because if they had to get any form of break or any form of rest, or maybe just whenever they were not watching him, to make sure that he was safe, they had to chain him. They had to tie him to something. And also the depiction showed one time this kid almost went into the fire. This kid jumped in the water. And this father literally constantly watched this child like a hawk. So back to what I was saying. So imagine this family having to literally have no life anymore. No social life, no financial. They can't. How do you work with a child like this? You can't go to work because you're at work wondering if this child is safe. Because even if you get care for this child, a carer is not going to understand your child like you understand your child. A carer is not going to look out for your child like you would look out for your child. So this father literally stayed. The only time this father had any kind of peace was when this child was sleeping. And even at that, they were there watching because that child could get up any moment. And this was this man's life for years till he met Jesus. And when he met Jesus, that was what this conversation we just read took place, when he met Jesus. When Jesus asked him, let me see if I can go further. And he brought him to him and said, okay. So, I'm trying to see, I was hoping to kind of get the whole context. Answer him, well, faithless generation, how long will I be with you? Okay. So, and they brought him unto him. And when he saw him straightway, the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed foaming. And he asked his father, how long is it ago since this came unto him? And he said, of a child. So this child has been suffering this torment since they can remember. Like this child has been dealing with, this family has been dealing with this for a very long time. And oftentimes he had cast him into the fire, and into the waters to destroy him. But if thou canst do anything, have compassion on us and help us. So now this father is saying, at this point, this thing has thrown this kid into the water. It has thrown him into the fire. It's basically trying to kill this child. However, this child is indestructible. It's like the spirit wants to kill the child, but doesn't want to kill it. It just wants to torment the family. It just wants to torment the child. And Jesus said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believe. So, Jesus is saying, yes, I can do this, but I also need you. It's a partnership. I need you to do your part. And Jesus is telling him, if you can believe, that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for anything. All I ask of you is that you believe. Just believe. That's what he's asking. Just believe. And basically, that's the same thing he's telling us in this day and age. All I'm asking you to do is come to me and believe that I am able. That I am able to give you redemption. I'm able to give you salvation. I'm able to make you better. And that's what he was telling this father today in this passage. And straight away, so after Jesus asked him, I mean, all things are possible if only you believe. But this was the man's response. And I commend his response coming from somebody that has gone through everything. Coming from somebody that has, I would have expected a more negative response. And he would have been well in his right. Because he's literally had to deal with different situations in his life. So life has put him in a place whereby a positive outlook was basically a mirage. So at that time, if he had sounded way more negative than this, I think Jesus would have also not even been mad at him. But this is what he says. And straight away the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe. Help thou my unbelief. This is a man that recognizes that he's done everything within his power. What has he got to lose? Like, all he has to do is just believe. What has he got to lose? He's done everything and he's lost up until this point. And if this man has the ability to heal his son, and all he has to do is believe, mind you, he's paid physicians, he's paid sorcerers, he's done everything. But this man is not asking him for money. This man is not asking him for anything because he doesn't even have anything to give if he had to come to that. But it's just asking him to believe. At this point, believe, even though it didn't seem like a lot, it was also something that he was struggling with because, you know, a lot of people say hope will kill you. It's a hope that kills. A lot of people just still, even though things are not looking up yet, they believe that one day it will get better. One day things are going to be better. And that's why a lot of people are still leaving, because of the hope. They have hope that things will get better. And for this man, he has finally come to that place of that one day might just be today. That one day. You see, there's something about Kairos. You cannot miss your Kairos moment. You might just be in a situation for years. Just like the man at the pool of Bethesda. Jesus asked him, will thou be made whole? He's been there for 30-something odd years. Literally on the pool. And it's interesting because you can hear his doubts. He's saying, when Jesus asked him, will thou be made whole? He says, well, when the angel comes to stir the water, I have no man to carry me and put me in. That's not what he asked you. It's like, have you asked somebody, how do you need help? Or what do you need help with? And they start telling you a different story. And this was the story of the man. And I don't blame him because he believed that the only way he could be made whole was in that water. He didn't see any other way out. And that was his focus. Well, God is not a respecter of person. He doesn't respect your mindset. He has the ability to do things in a way that might blow your mind. He will do things the way it pleases him. So if you're expecting God to work in this way and he decides to work here, and you're saying no, because it's not working here, I'm not going to take this help, you might just be doing yourself a disservice. So now Jesus is asking this man, will thou be made whole? And he said, well, I've been here for 30-something odd years. I've been by the water. I don't have nobody to put me in the water. And he's just there going on and on and on. And Jesus is like, will thou be made whole? Do you want to get better or not? I say, yeah. It's okay. Pick up your mat and go. You see, that on its own, he might not have sounded like he had faith. That on its own requires faith. Because he could have said, is this man crazy? What do you mean pick up my mat and go? Like I just told you I cannot walk. I just told you I've been laying down here for 30 something years. I cannot even crawl into the water. I don't have nobody to put me in the water to heal me. You tell me to pick up my mat and go? I know some of us would be like that. Like, man, is he messing with me, or is he trying to mock me? I just told you I cannot walk, but you tell me to pick up my mat and go. But it took faith. You know, I like those people that say, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I'm just going to humor you. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, oh, well, I'll just count you as one of those things that I tried that did not work. I like when people are open-minded like that, because you just never know when your faith will come through for you. So he picks up his mat, he gets up, and he works. For 30-something odd years, that man stayed there believing that his help was going to come from one direction. But his help had been orchestrated and had been planned to come from a different direction. God just had mercy on him. That's what I call mercy. You see, a lot of us have been in situations that we believed that our solution was going to come from one place. And sometimes solutions came and we didn't recognize it because it didn't come in a package that we were used to. It didn't come in a package that we were hoping for it to come in. And because of that, a lot of us have missed out big time in opportunities that we wished we could have taken advantage of. So now, back to this man. He said, I believe. So him saying, I believe, he's saying, yeah, I believe that you could heal. However, I don't know if you can do it in my situation. Mind you, the disciples of Jesus had already tried and failed. So this man had a lot of reason to be like, you know what? No. What's the point? Because your people done tried and they failed. So why should I cannot subject myself to this. So now at this point, he's basically in a place of, I'm going to give this one more shot. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm just going to pull myself together enough to give it a try. And this man pulls himself together and he said, I believe, which means I have just a tiny bit of faith. I just believe just enough that you are who you say you are, but I don't know. You know how people go, I've heard people say, this has never happened to me. I've heard people say, this is not for people like me. You know how people believe that all their lives, nothing good happened to them till it does? And so he's not saying, I don't believe that good things don't happen. I just believe that, given the record of my life, it just hasn't been my experience. And I believe that's where that man was coming from. He's like, yeah, I believe that I've heard you do all these amazing things. However, I don't think you understand my story. However, good things hasn't happened in my family for a long time. And that's where I'm coming from. So he's saying, Lord, I believe. However, the part of me that doubts that it could happen to me, the part of me that doubts that this problem ends today for me, because I don't want to stand in the way of my own healing. I don't want to stand in the way of my own breakthrough. I don't want to stand in the way of my own blessing. Help my unbelief. Because he knew that there was a possibility of him being the one to sabotage his own blessing.